Good evening, friend. I'm so glad you are here with me right now. You are safe, you are seen, and this time is just for you. I am with you in this quiet moment, and everything else can rest. Have you ever watched snow fall in a place that seems to hold its breath? Have you ever wondered what it feels like to travel through a sleeping landscape, watching night become softer as you pass? There are small, gentle questions that come with journeys like this, quiet curiosities that do not need an answer, only the company of attention. Tonight we will follow one of those questions, not to solve anything, but to listen and to rest with it. Begin by finding a comfortable position. Let your eyes soften, and allow your shoulders to drop. Breathe in slowly for 4 counts, and breathe out for 6, letting each exhale make your muscles a little looser. Feel the weight of your body on the surface beneath you, supported, steady, and safe. Imagine each breath as a small, warm light that moves through you, loosening the day's edges. Allow your jaw to unclench, your tongue to rest, and your hands to settle where they will not be disturbed. With every breath, feel a gentle sinking, like a train seat accepting your shape and holding you kindly. The snow outside is arranged like a million soft promises, each flake falling with its own quiet, patient grace. You find yourself on a train that moves through a winter evening, its carriage lit in the warm, honeyed glow of lamps. The world beyond the glass is a hush of white and pale blue, distances wrapped in soft texture so that nothing arrives abruptly. You have a window seat that curves just to the line of your shoulders, a place designed for resting and observing. A wool blanket, folded and slightly warm, lies across your lap, smelling faintly of cedar and clean wool. The motion of the train is an even, measured lullaby. A slow roll, a small rise and fall, a whisper of wheels on rail. Outside, the land moves by like slow, obedient pages, fields cushioned with snow, fences softened into low ridges, the occasional dark outline of a farmhouse whose windows glow like small, faithful lanterns. A line of tall trees stands with their branches trimmed in white, each bough a careful brushstroke in the landscape's gentle painting. The train follows a track that has a patient history. It travels without hurry and with steady purpose, as if respecting the night and asking permission to pass. There are few sounds except the train's breathing, the muted conversations of other passengers, and the small clink of a cup on a saucer. Inside the carriage the air is slightly warm and carries the faint scent of tea and cedar. It is a scent that seems to suggest being cared for. You notice the small details, the soft padding of the seat, the slight tilt when the train takes a curve, the way the lamp light pools on the aisle like warm tea. A conductor moves through the carriage with slow, assured steps, smiling briefly without intrusion, as though checking that the world remains kindly arranged. On a distant bench, a folded newspaper rests and then is abandoned when its reader lowers it and lets the letters blur into restful shapes. Someone ahead hums a tune so low and unobtrusive that it blends with the rhythm of the rails, becoming part of the carriage's quiet music. You let your fingers trail along the armrest, feeling the slight grooves worn smooth by many journeys. As the train moves into the country, small villages appear like gentle punctuation marks. A station sign, frosted with lacy ice, suggests names that are soft to say, and a lamplight reveals a single pair of boots beside a platform bench. People who step onto or off the train do so with few gestures, and there is care in each exchange: a nod, a small smile, a folded hand around a warm drink. The world feels both expansive and forgiving. Distances are softened and the boundaries between places become less sharp, like pencil marks that have been gently smudged. The carriage's conversation is easy and low. A pair of travelers share a thermos and a story that is told as if reading a favorite line aloud: slow, deliberate, cherished. A child, already half-dreaming, traces a lazy shape on the window with the tip of a mitten. The gesture is small and contented. Near you, someone tucks their scarf more neatly around their neck, the movement precise in a way that brings a small, soothing order to the surroundings. These small human acts are gentle anchors, soft in their presence, and they remind you that you are part of a kindly, unhurried company. Snow gathers on the roofs of barns and on the wide, patient shoulders of stone walls that mark the edges of fields. Where fences cross the view, they create soft rectangles of white, and where paths lead to distant woods, they appear as faint lines braided into pale velvet. A river shines low and steady, reflecting the pale winter light like a sleeping ribbon of silver. The trees wear their winter coats quietly, and small animals, a hare, perhaps, or a distant fox, move with the soft assurance of one who knows the shape of the land. The train makes a gentle ascent, moving into higher ground where the valleys gather and the air feels a touch clearer and sweeter. There is a slight change in the carriage's rhythm, a slow, deliberate climb, and with it your breath lengthens unconsciously. You notice how the inside of the window gathers tiny threads of frost at the corners, decorative blooms that seem to form just to be beautiful and then fade. Each curve brings a new composition of whiteness and dark, a study in texture where snow rests differently on rock, tree, and fence. Sometimes the train slows for no more than a thoughtful pause, a small breathing out as if the line itself is admiring the view. At one such pause, a station's wooden bench has a small mound of untouched snow where someone left a glove. The glove appears as a tiny missing piece in the tableau. In the distance, a dog lifts its head and then returns to lying as if satisfied that all is in order. These tiny, inconsequential moments are the kind that let your mind release its own small preoccupations. Breathe with me now, matching the slow roll of the carriage. Inhale gently for 3 counts, feel the air warm the chest, and exhale for 5, letting the shoulders drop. Imagine your breath as a soft bellows that gently fans warmth through your limbs, quieting each small busy part. Allow the muscles around your eyes to soften, and imagine the space behind them stretching like a calm blue sky. If thoughts come, let them float like pale feathers outside the window, watched without judgment until they drift beyond the track. Sometimes the night opens to reveal the pale pearly glow of a moon that hangs low and steady, gilding the winter scene with a mild, restorative light. Under that moon, the snow seems to listen, folding itself into quieter shapes, and the landscape becomes a careful study in silver and soft shadow. You might watch a spray of stars where the air is clear, each a steady pinprick that has not hurried for centuries to arrive at your sight. Inside the carriage, A small lamp on a table offers light to a pair who sketch the passing winter on thin paper, their pencil strokes soft and deliberate. The motion of the train, the weight of the blanket, the low conversation, and the scent of warm tea combine into a steady, secure atmosphere. You may find yourself leaning a little deeper into your seat, as if the chair is a friendly shoulder that offers to take some of your small burdens. Snow at times gathers into gentle drifts that make the land look like a folded quilt, and where tracks cut through open land, the rails shine with a faint damp gloss. The horizon grows and shrinks in a rhythm that is almost musical, and you sense time slowing along with the scenery. There is an ease in accepting how slowly everything unfolds. The train does not hurry, the people do not rush, and you are invited into the same gentle pace. A station with a single lamp and an old wooden clock seems to be keeping its own calm appointment with the night. A woman steps off with a parcel wrapped in brown paper, cradling it like a small, meaningful treasure. She smiles at the conductor and then moves toward a path that leads into the trees, leaving steps that quickly fill with fresh snow. The scene is brief, and yet it lingers like a soft chord that the mind returns to as if savoring a warm taste. Listen to the small music of the carriage, the whisper of pages turning, the muffled clink of cutlery, a light breath in sleep, the occasional hush of a stroller being placed upright. These sounds weave a net of comfort, each thread minor but important, and together they hold a gentle, communal rest. If your mind notices particular sounds, let them be part of the background, neither pursued nor resisted, merely noticed and allowed. The land moves from open fields into a generous band of woodland where the trees stand closer together and their boughs make a lacy canopy over the track. Pine gives the air a fresh, resinous note, and where the train slices through the trees, the snow hangs like small lanterns from every branch. Light filters through in narrow shafts, and for a moment the world looks as though painted with thin, silver brushes. Inside your pocket, perhaps there is a small paper ticket that the conductor once handled with a soft, efficient smile. You might trace its edge with your thumb, feeling the tiny ridges of the paper and remembering how travel has always been an invitation to notice small things. The ticket is a quiet proof of movement, a gentle permission to be in transit and to let the mind expand into that space. As the train climbs higher, the valley widens below and the roofs of houses look like small, scattered shells upon the land. A church's steeple punctuates the scene like a soft punctuation mark, and smoke rises in thin lines from chimneys, leaning with the patient wind. Those thin smoke trails smell of wood and slow fires, and they carry the unhurried promise of evening meals and settled rooms. The carriage's interior seems designed to encourage rest, upholstery in gentle patterns, footrests that accept tired legs, and lamps that throw a warm, localized glow. A station attendant moves silently with a cloth, straightening a handrail and smoothing an imperceptible wrinkle in a curtain as though performing a private act of care. Small acts of tending like this are scattered through the carriage and are more restful than words. Snow clings softly to bridge railings and the line sometimes passes over a low river whose black water is edged with frosted reeds. The bridge is not dramatic, its presence is simply kindly and useful, holding the track in a smooth, reliable line. Below, the water moves with a slow, hidden life, untroubled by the surface's cold and the night's hush. If your eyes grow heavy, let them close in a way that feels gentle, not forced, but surrendered like a hand being lifted from a rail. Imagine the train's motion as a soft cradle, its rhythm steadying your breath and easing the small muscle tensions that remain. You are traveling toward nothing urgent, only toward the calm that allows sleep to visit. Sometimes the track favors a long curve that allows you to watch a stretch of countryside for a while, a farm, a young stand of aspens, a lane that disappears into a dark pocket of trees. In those longer views, you can practice a small kindness toward yourself, letting each scene be a soft companion, without insisting on memory or judgment. You may picture the faces of people you love as gentle, warm lights inside those distant houses, safe and unbothered. The higher you go, the quieter the night becomes, not empty but full of small background music, the hush of snow when it settles, the faint settling sigh of old houses, the occasional creak of a distant gate. Each noise is small enough to be comforting, like a chorus of minor notes in a lullaby. A station with a rounded roof appears and the train eases in like a thoughtful guest. A woman with a basket of small cakes steps on, offering a sweet smell that mingles with the carriage's tea. She chooses a seat and unwraps a small piece for herself with careful success, as though unwrapping a small kindness. The scene is ordinary and yet warm. These are the kinds of moments that make up a life and make travel feel like being gently held. As hours pass, the night's silence sometimes deepens into a velvet thickness. The train's motion, always present, becomes the principal companion. Your breathing may now be slow enough that each inhale is a small exploration and each exhale a quiet return. If sleep arrives, it should come like a restful tide, not a sudden plunge. Snow can alter the shape of familiar things. A stone fence becomes a rounded ridge, a garden gate becomes a pale arch. In that remaking, the world grows kinder, its sharper edges softened by the covering lightness. This change is not loss but a gentle transformation that allows a renewed, more forgiving view of the landscape. On board, charts and maps are folded and refolded, their lines marking routes like veins that connect places with calm geometry. A child's map has small doodles on the margins, a drawing of a house and a smiling sun, and it seems like a tiny, hopeful artifact in the adult world. Those little human gestures are quiet treasures that the night keeps safe. The train continues to climb and the forests thin into stands of scattered hardwoods, their branches powder-coated with snow. On the higher slopes, rocks appear more frequently, their raw surfaces softened with rime and frost. The sky seems a bit nearer here, a broad, reassuring bowl under which all movement is tenderly contained. Take one more long, slow breath with me now, in for 4 counts, and out for 6, and feel the full weight of the day slide down into the seat as if being placed gently into a drawer. Let the warmth of the blanket rest over your knees, and imagine its fibers inviting every small knot of tension to loosen. There is no need to do anything more tonight than to be present and allowed. The conductor's footsteps move like a small, steady metronome, and occasionally he offers a soft word to a sleeping passenger as one might do to a child, brief, affectionate, and discreet. Those small gestures ripple through the carriage like little consolation notes, and they help the environment remain tender and composed. The track sometimes opens to reveal a wide valley where clusters of houses rest like a handful of lanterns. The pattern of lights across that valley is leisurely and generous, a scatter of human warmth in the cool distance. Looking at these lights can feel like gazing at a gentle constellation whose arrangement is friendly and known. When the train passes a stand of birches, their white trunks look like a small crowd of pale pillars, patient and still. If you watch slowly enough, a bird may cross the field of view and disappear into a line of trees, moving with a small purpose that is quiet and unhurried. Inside, pillows support necks in varying degrees, and a child's breath occasionally deepens into the even rise of dream. The carriage becomes a small community of rest, where each person's relaxation teaches the next that it is safe to soften. There may be times when you feel a small nostalgia, a sweet reaching toward memories that are neither sharp nor painful but gently luminous. Allow those memories to be like soft lanterns that warm the inside of your chest, illuminating without demanding anything. If one is accompanied by a slight ache, breathe into it with compassion and imagine it dissolving into the motion of the train. Outside, a lone farmhouse sits with curtains drawn and a single light burning in its kitchen window, the kind of light that says supper has been eaten and dishes are perhaps drying on the rack. Those small domestic images are comfortable reminders that ordinary life continues calmly beyond the window. As the night deepens, the train's interior lights are dimmed just a touch, and the glow becomes more private and intimate. The lamp over your seat is a kind, low flame that invites you to hold the last, small, deliberate thoughts and then set them gently aside. This is a time reserved for being small and slow, for noticing how restful stillness can be. Snow makes sounds different. A footstep in snow is muffled like someone walking across a plush carpet, and the world itself feels wrapped in a gentle diaphragm that silences harshness. That softened soundscape is perfect for rest and for the mind to find a steady rhythm. Sometimes the carriage passes a small bridge where the river below is partially iced, and the water that moves beneath sings a thin, patient note. Listening to that note for a while may be all that is needed to settle the mind. It has a modest insistence that is calming rather than distracting. The train's gentle tilt on a curve is like a slow nod that acknowledges the passing landscape and encourages the traveler to relax with it. You can let your body follow the tilt like a friend leaning back beside you, sharing its easy trust. A faint glow might appear in the sky as dawn approaches far away, but tonight the approach of morning is distant and slow and does not require your notice. This part of the journey is for the night, for the small inward turning that sleep asks for, not for the preparation of obligations. If you notice a small tension in the back or shoulders, allow the slow motion of the train to rock it loose. Imagine each rail as a gentle finger smoothing away a knot. Do this with kindness and patience, not with force. Small uncoiling is enough. At one point, the train crosses a field where the snow has been pressed into soft, looping patterns by the wind, creating a subtle tapestry that the moonlight makes almost tactile. These patterns are momentary artwork made by nature, and they pass as quietly as they came, leaving a sense of fortunate witnessing. There are stations where people meet or part with little ceremony. Sometimes a hand is held for a moment longer, sometimes a parcel is passed between fingers with a careful, deliberate motion. These gestures, even when small, carry weight in their tenderness and are part of the slow narrative of travel. The carriage rocks in its habitual rhythm, and if sleep has not yet arrived, you can use that rhythm as a counting device. Each tilt and roll a number in a slow, forgiving sequence. Count without trying to reach an end. The counting merely helps the breath and mind find steady agreement. When the train brings you to a higher plateau, the air smells of a near-sweet freesia and cool stone, the combination in winter being an odd but pleasant harmony. Here the world looks more open, and the stars seem to breathe with a little more space between them. You might imagine that you have a small, private window of time that belongs solely to you and the slow train, a small island of rest in a larger sea of activity. Treat this time as a cherished offering, a chance to be quiet and to let the body and mind unwind safely. Sometimes, on the upper reaches, the track runs close to a line of old stone markers, moss-covered and soft at the edges, like cured memories that keep watch over the passage. They do not intrude on the scene, instead, they stand as steady, patient witnesses to the passage of many nights. There is a steady honesty to the environment on board. People do not pretend to be other than they are. They sit, sleep, drink tea, or simply look out with mild curiosity. That honesty relaxes you because it frees you from performance. There is no need to be anything other than yourself in this moving sanctuary. Take another slow breath, and imagine the warmth of the carriage threading through your limbs and into the small spaces where anxiety often lives. With each exhale, imagine those spaces releasing their tightness into the night and being carried away by the train's forward motion. As the night moves on, you may drift between awake and dreaming with gentle frequency, and this is natural and kind. Each time you return to wakefulness, you find the environment unchanged in its care for you. The blanket is there, the lamp is there, the motion continues steady. The snow-covered world outside eventually slips into an even softer hush, as if the landscape itself has settled into deep listening. This hush is generous and inclusive. It invites you not to hold anything too tightly and to allow yourself to be held instead. If it helps, picture a slow, bright beat of memory, perhaps a quiet laugh, a remembered kindness, or the flavor of a favorite tea, and let that beat roll slowly along your attention, pleasant but not demanding. When it stops, release it with gratitude and continue to breathe gently. A small, private hum may travel through the carriage as someone plays a low chord on a guitar in a corner. The sound is careful and unobtrusive, more like a color than music, and it fits. These sounds, when shared softly, create an atmosphere of mutual comfort and remind you of the ease of simply being present with others. The night's slow passing is like a long, uncomplicated sentence, each clause resting comfortably before the next begins. There is no rush to finish. The sentence can continue until sleep itself writes the final period. At the highest reach of the route, the world below becomes a textured wash of light and dark, and the train feels like a small, warm vessel moving through a vast, patient sea. That image can be comforting. You are in a reliable craft, the night is kind, and everything you need is already within reach. As the carriage moves, small personal rituals continue. A hand brushes a cheek, a scarf is smoothed, a thermos is closed with a soft click. These rituals are unimportant to anyone but the one who performs them, but that private care is a gentle reminder that tenderness lives in small actions. In the quietest hours, the train's light seems like a safe island against a sleeping landscape, and the people within it become a community of soft silhouettes resting together. There is no need for words. Presence alone suffices and is oddly generous. If a small dream arrives, let it be welcome. If it dissolves quickly, do not chase it. Dreams are like the passing landscapes, lovely visitors who do not require your full attention to be important. Now, in these final stretches of the journey, allow all deliberate thought to soften into a warm blur. The train has carried you through valley and hill, over bridge and through quiet stations, and it continues to do so with faithful patience. Know that you are safe in this carriage, wrapped in a communal hush, and that your place in the night is secure. You may not need to be anywhere else but here, in this warm enclosure, as sleep draws its gentle curtain. If a worry comes to mind, Imagine placing it on the seat beside you and watching it grow smaller as the train carries it away. The track does not judge, it simply moves forward, and that movement is enough to carry away many small concerns. The lamps dim lower still, and the overall glow sifts into a private, tender twilight. Your breath has matched the rhythm of the rails, and your muscles have softened into the curve of the seat. Now allow your eyes to close fully, as if you are leaning into a familiar shoulder. Feel the weight of the blanket, the warmth of the lamp's memory, and the slow promise of the track. In these final moments before sleep arrives, imagine a gentle white light spreading from the place between your eyebrows, drifting slowly outward until it fills you with a calm, embracing peace. Let that light be a quiet guardian, steady and unfussy, guiding you toward rest. The train's small sounds murmur and then fade like a low tide. The carriage breathes in unison, a soft, collective exhale. You are carried, companioned, and gently held. Good night now. Let the last sliver of waking thought melt into the night. Allow sleep to come easily, as the train continues its slow, faithful journey. Rest now, travel softly into deep and effortless sleep. A hush lies over the mountains like a promised secret, and it keeps everything tender. Soft air moves through pines and carries with it a quiet patience that feels like a gentle hand on the shoulder. The track winds like a careful story, each curve a chapter that unfolds at its own pace. Night smells of moss and distant rain, familiar and comforting in its simplicity. The motion underfoot is faithful and mild, a steady friend escorting you down the line of dreams. When you exhale, imagine the day loosening its grip and sliding away like mist. Small lights in windows wink and then rest, as if someone has read a sentence and closed the book for the night. A slow clock somewhere marks time in generous beats, allowing the body ample room to let go. The cool touch of glass under your cheek is a quiet reminder of the boundary between inner warmth and the night's air. Gentle shapes pass by the window, unhurried silhouettes that invite rather than demand attention. Beyond the window, the snow sometimes gathers in sculpted drifts that look as though someone has quilted the earth by hand. There are places where wind has traced delicate, parallel marks that resemble broad, careful handwriting. Those marks tell the story of weather without urgency. At times the train moves beside a stand of old maples, their branches black and skeletal against the pale sky, and their silhouettes are patient and eloquent in their simplicity. You might find the silhouette of a distant ridge comforting, a stable shape that the mind can rest against, like a friend's shoulder in the dim. There is a kind of quiet reassurance in knowing that the world keeps its structure even when everything is softened by snow. Inside the carriage, a small glass of water sweats slightly in the lamp-warm air, and its gentle beating is almost musical if you listen for a while. A passenger across the aisle folds a small knitted mitt with methodical care, the movement steady as a small meditation. Someone else has a sketchbook open and draws thin, tentative lines, not to complete a perfect picture but to record the sensation of passing light on snow. These small actions are not meant to be shared, they are private rituals that honor the soft pace of the evening. The dining car, if you choose to walk there, is like a warm little planet apart from the train's longer world. Its wood panels glow under low lamps, and the crockery's edges are familiar in a way that suggests long use and quiet domesticity. People speak in conversational intonations that are low and rounded, the kind that says more in the pauses than in the words. You are welcome to pass by, to inhale the faintly buttery scent of a recently baked roll, and then return to your seat knowing that gentle hospitality was there if you needed it. Sometimes the train tracks cross a frozen marsh where reeds stand stiff like a field of fine bells. The wind there moves in patterns that seem composed, leaving the surface threaded with delicate waves. That kind of natural geometry can feel reassuring because it indicates order and continuity, even in places that appear wild. When the carriage slips into a tunnel that is old and short, the temporary darkness feels like a shared pause. Time contracts for a moment and then expands again on the other side. In that brief close, you might feel more aware of your heartbeat and the tiny warmth of your breath against the glass. The return to light is gentle, as though someone has opened a drawn curtain to reveal a scene that was waiting patiently. There are train windows that frame the world in portrait-like rectangles, and you can practice a kind of attentive looking there. Let your gaze rest on a tree, a fence, or a rooftop without probing. Watch how the scene changes with light and distance, and notice how the mind relaxes when it is allowed to simply observe. This is an exercise of the softest kind, noticing without needing to respond. In quiet corners, older travelers fold their hands with the patience of people who know unhurried rhythms. They carry with them small histories that are visible in the careful way they move, how they put a cup down, how they smooth a blanket, small movements full of accumulated grace. Being near them is like being close to a slow, steady lesson in how to be restful. Snow sometimes flakes in thick, velvety clusters that obscure detail and make everything seem intentionally simplified. When you watch such a snowfall from inside, the world outside appears deliberately designed to reduce distraction and encourage inwardness. Those nights are particularly conducive to a deep, uncomplicated rest. The conductor, whose steps are a gentle punctuation, sometimes presses a soft, friendly word into a sleeping traveler's ear, "All is well." It is a small phrase uttered with respect, and it is often enough to evoke a sense of protection and simple care. You may hold on to such a phrase like a small token that helps to steady the mind. At certain points the line follows the course of an old road, and you can see the faint, parallel patterns where carts once passed long ago. This sense of continuity, that paths are repurposed and lives follow familiar channels, can be soothing, as it reminds you of the quiet persistence of ordinary life. In the far distance, there might be a lighthouse that seems to stand incongruously far from the coast, its light more symbolic than navigational in this scene. It blinks with polite regularity, and in its rhythm there is a small, friendly message: keep moving gently, the world is watching in a kind way. If you choose to close your eyes and imagine the slow, internal life of the train, you might picture small mechanical things working together with calm precision, a gentle thermostat nudging warmth into the carriage, hinges that allow doors to whisper rather than slam, and springs that embrace motion. The world of mechanics need not be cold, it can be a soft background of dependable hums that supports the living, breathing passengers. There are places where the line skirts a small lake, and the surface reflects the sky like a clever, patient mirror. In those stretches, the reflection can feel so precise it becomes a second, inverted world, and looking at it invites a sense of contemplative wonder rather than excitement. This kind of mirrored calm is an invitation to quiet observation, not so much to discovery as to appreciation. You may notice how the small furnishings of the carriage are textured in ways that encourage touch: velvet on a chair back, a slightly rough woven throw, the smoothness of a porcelain cup. Touch can be a gentle anchor. Placing your hand on the warm fabric or feeling the cup in your palm can be the kind of sensory contact that grounds the mind pleasantly. Sometimes the train passes an orchard where the fruit trees stand in stark, disciplined rows even in winter. Their bare limbs appear architectural, and in that ordered geometry there is a comfort that echoes a tidy room or a well-tended garden. Such scenes may remind you of predictable kindnesses: beds made, lights dimmed, and meals set in their places. Imagine, for a moment, if you could press a palm against the window and feel the faint coolness transmitted through the glass. It would be as if the night is touching you gently through the barrier. That notion can be oddly reassuring. There is contact without exposure, intimacy without vulnerability. As the train moves onward, small towns come close enough for the details of porches and shutters to be seen, and each house seems to have its unique arrangement of decorations and small signs of life. These differences are subtle and unhurried, like the small individualities of people you might pass briefly on a street. The variety is quiet and tender, inviting appreciation rather than analysis. When you encounter a long, steady climb, allow your breath to match the ascent, a slow inhale as you feel the carriage slope a little upward, and a longer exhale as it settles again. These bodily thermometers for motion help to align your internal rhythm with the external movement, making sleep feel like a shared act of consent between you and the train. There can be times when a muted conversation floats by that speaks of ordinary things, recipes, old roads, the weather, and it is the kind of tiny connection that reassures you that life is carrying on gently. You are not alone in this sense. There are many small human threads woven through the carriage. A small child may sleep with a mittened hand resting on a soft animal toy, and that combination of warmth and softness is a universal image of safety. Watching such small trust can be an antidote to the day's sharper edges, reminding you of the simplicity and sufficiency of presence. Sometimes the train passes through a stretch of land where snow and stone alternate in pleasing pattern, creating a kind of natural mosaic that rewards patient viewing. It is the kind of landscape that invites you to slow down your observation so that you can notice the details of texture and the interplay of light. If the carriage is very still and your breathing is steady, you might close your eyes and imagine the soft architecture of sleep forming in your mind, a low room with warm fabrics, a small lamplight, and the vague hint of snow passing by a distant window. This imagined interior can be a kind of rehearsal for actual rest, calming the nervous system by proposing a safe, small scene. On some nights, a distant train may echo faintly, its sound traveling across fields and hills and layering with your own train's rhythm to form a complex, patient chorus. Hearing that echo can remind you that you are part of a larger world where many people are traveling and resting at once, connected by shared motion. There are also the gentle rituals of departure and arrival. Even if you are not getting off, people fold maps, gather small belongings, and smooth scarves as though preparing to present themselves softly to the next place. These rituals are small acts of self-respect, and watching or performing them can be quietly restorative. A sense of lengthening night is common on long journeys, and it allows the mind to relax into a more prolonged sense of surrender. When the hours feel stretched and unhurried, you have the space to simply be with breath, body, and the faint music of wheels on rails. Imagine that the train is a slowly turning page in a book that contains many small, peaceful impressions. Each page is a scene, and each scene is gentle enough to sink into without needing to remember the last. This metaphor can be helpful because it allows the mind to progress without pressure, knowing that the narrative is designed to soothe rather than surprise. The carriage invites a private kind of stillness. You do not have to speak to occupy the space. Being quiet is not absence but a presence of its own kind, measured and generous. There are those who feel more at ease in silence, and the train respects that by filling the air with soft, neutral sounds rather than demands for attention. As the night advances, you may find yourself composing small images in the mind that are pleasant and unintrusive, a cup warming your hands, a small piece of music played very softly, the sensation of stepping into a room with a fireplace. These mini images are restful companions and can be used as touchstones when the mind wanders too far from calm. The line sometimes bends so that a sliver of town becomes visible against a hill, and in that sliver you may imagine the lives within all unfolding simply and well. That small creative empathy is restful because it does not attempt to change anything but only to imagine kindness in places you do not inhabit. On rare nights, you may see the faint shimmer of northern light, a slow, quiet veil that moves with gentle dignity across the sky. Such a sight is rare and not dramatic. It is a hush of color that passes like a thought and leaves behind a feeling of quiet gratitude. If you notice your hands trembling slightly with fatigue, lay them on the blanket and breathe into their warmth. Imagine the motion of the train as a soft percussion that soothes those small tremors away. The body understands rhythm and responds kindly when given consistent, gentle prompts. At the end of a long carriage there is often a small window that shows the track receding behind, and sometimes watching the world you have traversed from a different perspective can be a calming conclusion to the mental journey. Seeing the receding lights and folding landscape can help you accept that things you brought with you are being left behind in the best possible way. When the train's pace is steady and the carriage is warm, imagine your thoughts thinning and taking on the texture of the snow outside, soft, fine, and drifting. Let them settle quietly and do not reach for them. They will come back later if needed, but for now let them be small and aloof. If you are inclined, bring to mind a comforting mantra of a few words like, "I am held," or, "gentle and safe," and repeat it softly along with your breath. There is power in simplicity and in the steady repetition of calm phrases that the mind can close around. Near the end of a long night, the carriage seems to fold itself into its own quiet geometry, seats forming small alcoves, lamps throwing private pools of light, and passengers turning inward in varying degrees of rest. This inward turning is graceful and communal. Everyone participates in a mutual agreement to be small and still. At last, as the hours tip toward the edges of arriving day, the train continues to move with gentle assurance. There is no need to watch the passing landscape any longer if your eyes prefer to keep closed. Let the world outside do what it will while your inner world settles. You have been traveling kindly, and the track will continue its patient progress even as you sleep. Now feel the deep relaxation of body and mind. Let your breathing be a soft tide. Allow a calm sleep to take you in its slow, certain way. The journey will remain a steady hum, and you will rest within its reliable fold. Sleep now, quietly and fully, resting in the slow carriage of night. In these last minutes before sleep takes hold, imagine the train as a small, steady harbor that rocks gently in a quiet sea. Feel your shoulders soften as if the carriage itself supports them, steady and warm. Bring slow attention to your feet and picture them sinking into a welcoming bed of wool. Let each toe relax and each ankle ease. Let your breathing be simple and patient, a full inhale that invites warmth, followed by a slow exhale that releases anything extra. If a thought appears, see it as a single snowflake that lands softly and melts without consequence. Notice the subtle textures around you, the blanket's weave, the faint warmth of the lamp, the smooth curve of the window edge against your cheek. There is nothing urgent to do. The carriage provides calm, steady motion, safe light, and the quiet presence of others who are also resting. Let the train's rhythm become part of your own pulse, a mild, repeating motion that encourages muscles to let go and thoughts to soften. Imagine the place where this journey may end, a small station with a low lamp, a path lined with muted snow, and an open doorway that suggests welcome rather than demand. You do not need to prepare for it. It is simply a gentle promise that the world continues with kindness and that arrival can be soft. Take one final, deep breath now, steady in, gentle at the top, then slow and willing as you let it fall away. Feel the full permission to relax sweep through you, from head to toes, like warm air moving over a familiar room. Let your mind fold into the quiet space that exists between slow heartbeats, where restful images gather without effort. Sleep is like a soft benediction arriving quietly. Allow it to come without resistance. Trust the slow motion of the rails, the warm light, and the communal hush around you. Your last conscious thought can be a simple, grateful exhale. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to my StoriesVerseAi channel. Now, let's get back to the story. Good night, see you tomorrow, byy.